this part, I'm going to ask Martha and Kyra and Zoe to just answer a couple questions, and we'll just do it kind of round robin. So for each of you, just a few sentences, really what inspired you to join the Social Connectedness Fellowship? And is there anything that you're learning and applying that you'll be able to take to your life and career? So maybe I'll ask Zoe to go first. I see you in my screen.
Sure. Thank you, Danielle. What inspired me to join the Social Connectedness Fellowship is that I'm currently majoring in social sciences, and I was really, really excited to do research that was related to my field that would also help young people like myself. And as for what I'm learning and how it applies to my life and career, I know Danielle mentioned earlier that I'm a volunteer chat room moderator for my youth group, Orlando Youth Alliance. And that works a lot with young adults in that same sort of 13 to 24 age range. So I can take a lot of what I've learned here about connecting and supporting young people and use that to give more support to the chat room members going forward. And I'm very excited to put some of that into practice.
Awesome. Thank you, Zoe. Okay, Kyra, I'm going to go on over to you. You're next to Zoe in my boxes. So Kyra, what's inspired you to join this fellowship, and is there anything that you're taking away?
Sure. So my mentor, Ashley James from Atlanta Glow, inspired me to join this fellowship. And I was really interested in it because I was always interested in personal development and sharing resources and information I come across with others in my life. And even though I never heard of the term social connectedness before, it felt like something I was already kind of immersed in. And learning that this research would benefit young people really felt like it aligns with my purpose. Now, what I've taken from this fellowship and how it'll benefit me in life, well, first and foremost, it really taught me more mindfulness about showing up for others and supporting others in my life. And I'm truly grateful for that. And then career-wise, collaborating on this project with a very supportive team and really intelligent and talented colleagues, Zoe, Martha, and we had another fellow, Yami. And I definitely know that this will enable me to, in my goal in advocating for youth in the foster care system.
Oh, Kyra, thank you. That was great to hear. And Martha, I'm going to ask you to go last here and answer the same questions.
Yes, I was inspired to join the Social Connectedness Fellowship because it gave me an opportunity to learn new things. Mindfulness is definitely one of them. Learning how to analyze data. That was a very big skill that I gained that I really enjoyed from this fellowship. And it also gave me an opportunity to improve the way that I reach out to friends when it comes to like sending them resources. So yeah. And the second question, how will you take what you learned, learning and applying it to your life and career? I would say that one thing I learned and that I will always apply it is active virtual interactions instead of passive virtual interactions. They're so important. Ever since I learned about this concept, I have used it, and it's actually like helped me like grow more socially and increase my network, both formally and informally.
Wow. Awesome. Okay, we're going to hear from all three of our fellows who are each going to do a presentation on their research. But you can see why we've been so excited about working with them. Before we move on, I'm just going to ask Kimberly actually to answer a question also. We like to know the person behind the project. So Kimberly, a couple questions for you. What has been your professional journey into social connectedness, and is there anything that you've learned from the fellows that apply to that learning?
Yeah. So yeah, I appreciate these questions. I love the first question, of course. So I thought about it. I feel like there's kind of two parts to that. The first, it has this roots in the fact that I had a long-standing curiosity around how people perceive and understand the world. And then that led me to really having to recognize that our relationships with others in our environment really affects those perceptions. And so I ended up in the field of sociology, similar to Zoe, and really interested in how how both we are shaping our world and our world shapes us. And just recognizing that who we are is fundamentally shaped by others and our interactions with them. But then you combine that with, which really has to do more with my career and the fact that my work has really been involved in working with organizations that are committed to social justice, and the recognition that the challenges that we face as a society really require a collective effort and an understanding of how we're interconnected. So I think taking both those two together, it becomes quite natural that I have a real strong interest in social connectedness. I think in terms of what I've learned, I think a lot of what I get out of this project is actually just is being inspired by the fellows. But I would say like one of the things that I've learned, and I'll keep it short so we can actually get to what they actually found through the research, is around the role of technology. And the idea, the fact that younger generation has grown up with a very different relationship to technology than I did and older adults have. And I think that and I've heard this from other adults as well, that we tend to see technology as something that takes people away from connecting with others. It creates distance. I think there's a lot that we hear about how it harms people's mental and emotional well-being. And I think the fellows have really helped me to think more about this with a little bit more nuance. I think to Martha's point around distinguishing between passive and active forms of technology, I think this is something that we really would benefit from understanding better within the field of social connectedness.